I was going to do scat, but I'm just too tired. I'm just too beat, and we've got a lot of jokes to make about dwarves and poisoned water. And so, but hey, welcome back to Karandrin role playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Cracked Palantir. I'll be your host and game master for this episode 160 of Brise's Tale. As always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise, the lovely and talented paladin. Max, why don't you say hello to the lovely folks?
Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Kevin continues to force me to wear these hats. Holds my family hostage each 10 episodes. I don't know how he's doing, but
that's right. 160 episodes. We were just talking about it's got to be what, the 4th anniversary of Brise's Tale now? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so. 2021. Third or fourth?
Yeah.
No, it is fourth because we do about 40 episodes, 35, 40 episodes a year. So.
Right. So, yeah, we just had our 4th. We've done this for 4 years. Can you believe it? A lot of crazy episodes, huge backlog of back catalog, I should say, of episodes you can go and watch and see the majority of Brise's life spelled out on screen. We look forward to doing 160 more.
You say the majority of Brise's life, but it's really been like 3 months of her life.
It's been 3 months of her life and 4 years
of her adventuring life.
Yes. So last episode we ended on quite a cliffhanger in which Brise was with her companion Doshrik, which I'm trying to find that. I can't find Doshrik's thing here. Where is Doshrik? There it is. Brise and Doshrik are in the dwarven city Gordovan, which is a dwarven hold. About half of it is contained within a mountain. The main body of which is an enormous cavern held up by beautiful carven pillars. The pillars themselves sort of act as skyscrapers with offices and businesses and homes inside them. There are archways that connect the various pillars and ramps that spiral up so you can get to the various businesses and so on. And it's one of the northernmost of the major dwarven cities of Avalar. And Doshrik and Brise had fled here trying to escape the necromancer Holver. And they were able to duck Holver and get escape, found refuge in a temple, and now while they're in the town, they thought they would wrap up a few other odds and ends. One of which is something that was overheard in a conversation with Holver and Volshad. Volshad being another necromancer that they are pursuing something called the Nine-Fingered Candle, an artifact apparently of considerable power that they're attempting to trade with someone. We don't know who or what that is, but there's some sort of deal in the works involving the Nine-Fingered Candle. In trying to seek out information on the Nine-Fingered Candle, Doshrik mentions a resource he has in the city named Gandasir, a dwarven lore master of some sort, whose bookshop is atop one of the pillars in the city. And they have been welcomed back into Gandasir's office. They're at the bookshop, exchange pleasantries, exchange stories. And when they bring up the fact that someone is seeking the Nine-Fingered Candle and their desire to stop Volshad from finding it, Gandasir's very chilling response was, "You must stop them." And that's where we left off last episode. Am I missing anything?
That just about sums it up. We're jump back into it.
Right. So yeah, Gandasir, dwarven female of moderate age, obviously a very rare and specialized book dealer, is is sitting across from you guys.
Mhm.
And she lets drop the fact that you absolutely must stop them, that they
So I
can't.
ask her what is this artifact capable of? Kind of. I mean, we're in a room, right?
Yes, her office, private office,
Right.
doors are closed.
Don't have to whisper.
Right.
We are in a library, though, so
Well, it's it's sort of a library. It's sort of a library bookshop sort of
library
combo.
bookshop situation.
She says that that she's surprised to even hear mention of it, but that it still exists is terrifying. The nine-fingered candle is a crown that has hand-like candles coming from it, three-fingered hands made of wax. There is a ritual associated with the use of the artifact. And what it does is unleashes control after the ritual of a dark, nebulous mass called the Uthnorn. Uthnorn. It takes 3 users, spellcasters, to activate the ritual. What the ritual is has long been lost, but if someone's seeking the candle, then someone must have found the ritual.
Hmm.
The last time the Uthnorn was used was in the dark dwarf country of Koronok.
Which no longer exists.
Which is now a desert wasteland. The Uthnorn was unleashed by a female wizard named Azragan. Against the city of Teth, Teth. It simply emerged from the crown, this nebulous black mass, settled upon the town, and after a day, no one was left alive in the town.
Damn. Was it a town or a city?
A city.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did I give you a date?
No.
1,400 years ago. Azragan filled the city with her own followers, ruled it for about 20 years, obviously holding it pretty easily against all comers, since she could simply release the Uthnorn. But her own fellow ritualist who helped her summon the power, unlock the power of the nine-fingered candle, slew her to gain the power for themselves, but apparently could not perform the ritual successfully. Eventually, Teth was overtaken, and the city was torn down to its roots, and the valley that it was in was left to just swallow it, let erosion, and it was just seen as such a cursed place after the visit of the Uthnorn. Stories then talk about it being taken to a temple, and it the rite being performed to destroy the nine-fingered candle. From that point on, accounts differ. Some said there was a flash and it destroyed the crown. Other accounts said no, it disappeared before the ritual was complete.
Wow.
That it has some sentience and self-preservation about it, and will flee destruction. Since then, there's only been mentions of it. Over the 200 years or so that she's been interested in magical items, she's heard of 4 different accounts of people seeking it, having rumor of it, pursuing it. The most recent person who was interested in it, unfortunately, is no better a person than Azragan was, and that worries her.
It seems to draw out people who want to use it for a dark purpose.
Get my I need to get my NPC roller up.
Gwyn's already going at it.
Oh no.
Yours too, buddy. Uthnorn.
Death. That's right. If his door's closed, blouse is open as they go for it.
That's what we need to summon the yours for the Uthnorn.
Let's see if I can find quickly. I cannot. Tell me that we have not been playing enough. That's what it tells me. Where's Excel? I got it. All right, behind you real quick. Oh, excuse me. Again. Kevin, focus. Oh, don't give me what's new. I don't care about what's new. I'll open reset.
It's old.
Boom. Oh, Lord. Oh, here we go. That's why. It did not work. So, there's a dwarven sorcerer who is seeking it. This is the last she heard of anyone's real interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
This was 30 years ago. Rumors were that a dwarven sorcerer named Dishall, Dishall, was seeking and had a lead on the location of the nine-fingered candle.
Mm-hmm.
Widely educated. Let's see how much he knows about. Yeah. In fact, he's from Gordovan.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
30 years ago.
what's his age? Do I have age rolled up on here? Probably not. Nope, doesn't look like I do have age. Little older than she is, so probably around 400 years old. But they had met several times in their dealings. He adheres to no one school of magic. He is very talented. He does temple magic. He does sorcery. He does mental magics as well. But she always struck him as particularly nasty, selfish, and she is, was not pleased to hear that he had a lead on where the nine-fingered candle might be.
Right.
She has inquired. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did he ever let on what he was going to use the candle for?
One story that I pried from a hireling was that he was going to try to destroy it. But I don't believe that at all. Over the years, she's sent inquiries and so on. Tapped her resources to see if anyone had heard anything. Nothing been in the wind about that.
What little wind comes through a dwarven hold?
That's right. It's usually just bad water.
Foul wind.
That's right. He is strangely, openly residing in, let's find out where, south, the southern end of Theaxia is where he resides. Unlike most powerful individuals, he's fairly open about it. There is the city of pirates across the bay from that area. It wouldn't surprise her if that's where he gains a lot of his hirelings and so on. Um, but she has sent spies down there, but it's such a rural area, it's hard to send a spy in and get any real information without being noticed. She does say, weirdly, that he does keep contact with the locals. They speak well of him.
Hmm. Well, we know how easy it is to get the locals on your side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doshrik asks, are there limitations on the crown? As many magic items have only so many times per day they can summon their magics.
Mm.
She says it's not known. Surely it must have an upper limit, particularly as great as the magic is. But it's not as though other cities have disappeared in this manner and we've heard about them.
Right. It would be kind of historic.
Or they could be much smaller villages that that disappeared.
Right. That's true.
The buildings of Teth were left standing.
Do we know if the Athnorn is captured by the candle or is it summoned by him from some other location?
The journals left to us from people outside of Teth describe the cloud emitting from the crown
Right.
as Azragan wore it. But what answer that really gives us, I don't know. Doshrik asks, does he tend to keep apprentices? Does he tend to keep relationships? Are we, does he have at least the staff to make this 3-person ritual happen?
Mm-hmm.
Last she heard, he had no apprentices.
Okay.
Most are very short-lived. He is very interested in ritual magic, so they tend to seek him for that.
Hmm.
And once their services are satisfied, he doesn't tend to let them linger long.
Hmm. I mean, I do wonder if I don't know if it really matters, but is his true intent really to destroy it? If it seems like he doesn't have the connections, right, to perform the ritual. We might have to go to him regardless of his alliance just to get more information.
What would you offer him? Gandasir asks. The only thing you have to offer him is news of the nine-fingered candle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you should give him.
Mm-hmm.
He has no association, so far as she knows, with the Council of the Southern Wizards that occupy Garduck, Southern Avalar, Southern Theaxia. He is not a member of that council. He doesn't seek permission to carry out experiments. He doesn't warn them. They seek him out far more often than he seeks them out.
Right. It's always the wizards that aren't on the council, right? Always the troublemakers.
Tend to be rogues, it seems. Not that the councils tend to be Boy Scouts by any means.
Right.
But they want to stay out of each other's hair.
I mentioned that the necromancer Volshad, currently seeking the candle, overheard her saying that she's making progress towards it, but the place is well guarded. So might suggest that their candle was, put somewhere where it should be kept for safekeeping. That is another lead. I don't know if there's any rumor surrounding that. If the candle was found and placed in a temple somewhere where it couldn't be easily obtained.
There's been no rumors as to where it's been. Well, they've never played out.
Right.
There have been rumors over the years, but none have come to anything that she has heard of. Do you know where Volshad was speaking of?
Fortunately, no.
Even geographically?
I mean, when I overheard her, she was in southern Nargaz, in the mountains, near a town called Balabri, but
I know Balabri.
She's capable of teleport, so I don't know how far from there it could be. She's been searching. I know Balabri got lost in there more often than
That's right.
care to count.
The real use of teleport is navigating Balabri.
Yeah.
Doshrik asks, what about the Uthnorn? Does it resemble anything that we know, anything that we could detect? Could we seek the candle by trying to detect the Uthnorn? She says, that is something I have not considered. That goes beyond my knowledge. I do have contacts who are very interested in magical creatures. If they could give us categories, perhaps that's a way to start.
Mm-hmm.
Doshrik asks, what about the origins of the crown itself? Who made it? How long ago? Gandasir says, dear Doshrik, I don't know.
A long time ago.
Oh, it's really weird. Karen must be using her iPhone, and it's connecting to my computer.
Oh, it's the Uthnorn.
That's right.
It's entering this world.
She says, now curiously, Uth is an elven sounding word that means flying. And it does fly. But I know of no word that means Norn that makes sense with it. I don't know what the three of us can do about it. I have some contacts with the Southern Council. Then I can send messengers there. But the likelihood they've heard anything from Deshal seems minute.
Mm-hmm.
Approaching Deshal openly is no good.
Mm-hmm.
And sneaking up on him will be difficult. No doubt, though he's open about where his base is.
That just means all the more confident that he could detect someone coming.
And he'll have, of course, soldiers about, whether simply hired swords or locals. And I'm sure any stranger who appears in the area is reported to him. Doshrik kind of chuckles and says, what if what Volshad is trying to break into is Deshal's headquarters? Gandashir shrugs, leans back, as good a guess as any.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, for one powerful sorceress to go up against another's base, it's a long shot.
Mm-hmm. It's possible Volshad is desperate, though, if she was pressed by Holver to do this.
What is Holver getting such that he's willing to give this up? Doshrik says, my lord, I haven't thought.
Mm-hmm.
I know little of Holver, Gandasir says. I've heard the name, and that's about all.
This item he planned, this nine-fingered crown, very much seems to be his, of his speed, something very powerful, very flashy, and without any sense of what's the word, stealth to it. He tends to
Brazen.
right, very brazen. That's exactly the word I'm looking for. So I wonder if he was to be the owner of it ultimately. It would explain his interest in it.
But he's willing to trade it.
Well, I'm not sure. Is he willing to trade it? That's what I wasn't clear about from their conversation.
I think so. That they're waiting, their trade partner, whoever that is. And I remember it being male, unless I'm very much mistaken. They said, he is, expecting his side of the bargain kind of a thing.
Yeah, let me see. Holbert says that. They speak of a trade. I assumed it was a trade between them, but I see what you mean. Is there could have been a third party as well. Okay.
If Volshad is under Holver's thumb,
Right.
a trade wouldn't make sense between them.
I had thought like he'd sent her to get this item for him, and then in exchange, he will
Release her.
Right, or give her some, reward. Um, but right, it could be someone else indeed.
Of course, without the ritual, the crown is almost useless.
Right.
It does augment your abilities while wearing it. It does have other special powers and powers for a spellcaster. But the ultimate power requires knowledge of the ritual. And I collect such volumes just so that I can destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never come across it. Doshik says, you always did have a good heart. Gandasir smiles.
Well, sounds like we need more information. We can't really act on anything we've know currently.
And getting that information is going to be a pain.
Right. So I tell Doshrik I could ask my contacts. I know Prethnot in Convergence have a way to access her. You can always ask Fraldrum as well.
Fraldrum is an old friend, Gandasir says.
Of course she is.
They're nearby.
Yeah.
Surely she will help.
I'm sorry, Obi-Wan and Quinn are having a conversation in the chat. Oh, but then Quinn's message got deleted. What happened?
Awkward. Our mods don't care for Jack.
Uh-oh.
Doshik says that new information is going to be tricky. How are we going to learn more about the identity of this third party? Defenses around that little town are going to be heightened.
Right.
With the theft of the spirit lantern. Spirit cage, I guess it is. Your familiar may not make it in there a second time. They may have detection for such things now.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if that's already the case. Do I know anywhere else Volshad would be? No, unfortunately not, because I destroyed the one candle in the other village. So I don't know where else Volshad would appear, right? That we could
parlay.
Yeah, parlay or espionage,
I wish we could bribe one of the villagers, Doshik says.
Right.
But even then, meetings between people of that power after our intrusion will probably be indoors and away from prying eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And with teleport,
I mean, possibly the priestess, right, of the village, or we learned about her, but she probably doesn't leave the village.
she might travel to the temple in Balabri for supplies for religious rites, things like that.
Okay. Hmm.
But really, just a name might tell us wonders. We could
Right.
just inquire if Dashal is even mentioned.
Mm-hmm. It does take, was it half a day to get from Pelka to Balabri?
Mm-hmm.
So she might not stay a full day in Balabri. So it'd be tough to.
Well, if she gets delayed, she probably stays the night. Like if there's any delay on the way, then it's hard going back at night.
Right.
She stays at the temple in Balabri, and then
In that case, we could have the temple alert us if this individual stays with them. We could be down there in the morning.
or send her a summons.
To Miagral Keep. That's true.
That is an easy out and very below the radar.
I forget Miagral rules over Balabri.
Yeah.
Has that authority.
So even if Kepis at Miagral's temple, right, her private temple, if Kepis sends summons,
Mm-hmm.
be a few days wait, but you would, because it's a day there and a day back,
Right.
half a day, well, most of a day coming from the keep, but you would have a way of communicating, questioning her at least.
Right.
Um,
Let me find that priest's name again. Priestess. Oh my god. There's a priestess whose name he can't recall. Oh no, here it is. A young goblin woman named Enukar. Okay. So we can at least make that request. Could he send a request to Pelka itself?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You send a writer. Paladins, in a lot of other games, paladins are like, I don't know, they're very romanticized. And here they're not. They are the armed forces of the temple.
Right.
They're not better than anybody. They have oaths, yes, but that's as much as the individual may or may not hold to that oath. It just varies.
Where's my smite?
Exactly.
Smite.
Yeah. And so, the fact that you're a paladin kind of means nothing other than you've been through the rites and rituals and training.
Right.
And so they're also you may not know this term, but dog's bodies, which is go do this for me.
Oh,
you just want me to take a note? Yeah, you're a young paladin. Go take a note and shut up. And so, yeah.
Kevin, can I change glasses? I don't know if I want to be a paladin anymore.
So, if not for your cult, you would probably be very much more wishy-washy and all over the place.
Right.
But because there was a much more specific calling and you were sort of brought into the secret group, there's a sense of greater belonging.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, paladins, at least in my world, they play like, you hear the news about priests even in our own time.
Right.
Caught adultery. It's for some, it's just a job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true for paladins here as well.
Right.
don't want to upset the gods, but you know, um,
They're not sworn to them supernaturally.
right. And so yeah, so they'll send the note and expect a reply, and then you guys can pull her aside and get information, or lead the priest to do it, depending on what you think is the better route.
Right.
Um,
It's kind of a safe way to do it as well. Like Volshad can't, theoretically, she can't really injure the priest or,
and
detain
it
him.
right, and it wouldn't be
Right.
suspicious.
Suspicious, yeah.
So,
Okay.
well, while we're sort of at this stopping point, shall we take a break?
That sounds good.
So, guys, just give us a few minutes. We're gonna go refill our drinks and stretch our legs, and so hang out with us just for a few minutes. We'll be right back with you, and we'll see where the rest of this storyline goes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining us and hanging out with us. Let's get Max back here. There he is.
All right.
So, talking with Gandasir, the Dwarven lore master in the city of Gordovan, trying to get a handle on what to do about the necromancer Volshad pursuing the nine-fingered candle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking, it was funny, a thought occurred to me during the break is, who would be very helpful to have around for this is Veralac. Because she's like 5,000 years old. The candle might have been created in her time.
Right.
If she was still around. But
right. Roll for me.
Don't have that one old enough. 34.
Yeah. Well, yeah, certainly it's not something you want to fall in the wrong hands.
No.
And it is a possibility that Oshekra may be a he on the charts.
Yes. This is true. And he operates in that area.
Well, further north, though. But yeah.
Oh, right.
Fringes, though.
We're seeing him around the Goblin Manor.
Right.
Yeah, in that area.
But definitely fringes. And certainly not below making a deal or two.
Mm-hmm. If that's the case, it might be possible to meet with the council I've met with before, the Council of the Wise, and I'm gonna have to close that door. Ask them possibly about Oshekra's plans, if he's known to seek such an item.
And you might as well ask what they've heard about Deshal, if anything.
Right. Close that.
Sure, go ahead.
They love that toy so much. It's ridiculous. Never stops. Bird chirping. Even at 3 a.m. Try to arrange a meeting. I know I'm on good terms with Korakyle, so meeting. And also with what was the elven woman's name?
Oh gosh.
Who stayed imprisoned at Miagral's.
Yeah. Freaking moral pillar that she is.
Yeah.
Super principled.
Yeah. I want to say Jay. It was her and the little goblin seer.
Yeah. Let's see if I can. Javik. See if I have one for. I surely have one for Javik. No. Yeah.
Oh, Javik. Yeah. And Falrumar, Javik, Dinamemru, and Plesh in Oshekra and Korakyle. Wow, last time I think I spoke with them was in June, so like a month ago. Yeah, a month and a half.
Oh, it wasn't I'm not sure that Javik is the one that was super principled.
Oh, maybe that was Falrumar.
Falrumar was.
Right, because we kept getting confused between Fraldrim and Falrumar.
Yeah.
We're both at the keep at the same time. Got it.
Yeah. Oh, I need to hop back here to Dashal. Click you on there. So, Doshrik and drawing a blank, Gandasir, talk about the most likely way to get information is going to be through other magical circles, right? Magical networks,
Right.
magic users who have been approached maybe by Dashal or anybody else interested in the nine-fingered candle. Because if they've been approached, then someone is, again, actively seeking. It has been 3 or 4 years since Gandasir has sent out feelers regarding the
crown.
Well, not the crown, but man, see, this is my grogginess kicking in.
Dashal. Yeah.
And so all of that can be sort of wrapped up as well, be initiated, as well as tapping into resources of knowledge about magical creatures, about what the Uthnorn might be, so that it might be possible to detect it. There, I think Fraldrum would be the most competent among, or actually Plesh, since he's a seer. If they could get some information about the Uthnorn, then a seer might have the real arts to be able to track it down.
A seer, I guess, sees. I know they work with memories. Can they also? I mean, I asked openly as Brise, right? Can a seer also, see things that have yet to come and see the locations of things that are hidden?
All information is a seer's realm.
I see.
Drawing memories from stone to detecting things in the present or the past. And Plush certainly could be recruited to this cause if he's not tied up elsewhere.
Did Plush ever leave some information with me? Okay. Oh my God, is when you have these characters that are mentioned like endlessly in my notes.
Right.
You find the last time. Back to Foreigner's Camp. Okay. Yeah, the last time I saw him was just at the keep. He departed.
Fraldrum might have contact, surely.
Or worst case, I always just can wave down one of the eagles.
Right.
And go through Korakyle. But yeah, we'll go to Fraldrum first.
Doshrik says he has very few contacts in the southern parts of Theaxia. So if any have been approached, down there, he doesn't have a lead. He has some leads in, some connections, contacts in the Elven States, Northern Theaxia, and the Pen Clans, the Desert Nation, to the east. But it's as good a place to start as any.
Another crazy thing. This Uthnor kind of sounds like a demon. I wonder if I'll bring it up. Is the Uthnor ever associated with something demonic? Does it have a influence? Documented have an influence on the soul, like a shearing or a dark presence?
The viewers outside of Teth, largely merchants that have been waylaid and so on by the siege of Teth, were obviously terrified. It's hard to tell from their writings if what they felt was truly a demonic presence or not.
Right.
The accounts do say that the screams from Teth were horrible. Is there any other avenue of information available to you guys that we've left untapped that would be obvious?
Yeah, the only other person could be in Convergence. My friend, the priest, whose name escapes me. Although he was busy treating the fever, which was a week ago, so it's still probably.
Yeah, it might be ongoing.
What was his name? It'll come back to me. He's supposed to be the old one. Why am I forgetting his name?
Exactly.
You forgot my name.
Prethnot, I don't know what use she would be.
Right, because her expertise is portals.
Yeah.
Kind of other
worlds. Yeah.
Right.
That's her big interest, which is not to say she hasn't been, she doesn't know other things, but you don't want to tap that well too many times.
That's what I was thinking too, is I've already asked for Iron's help with Chelbrick. I don't want to also ask for something else. Might be better to stick with what we have now.
Yeah.
Clarin, that's what it was.
There you go. I knew it started with a K, but I couldn't.
So I get him and Kepik confused. They're both priests.
I did too. Yeah.
He's my brother. He's not busy dealing with the fever.
And of course, you do have Kepik back, at the temple.
Right.
And you do have access to the keep's libraries. And
right.
You can put some coins in some pockets and see if you can get some answers shaken out.
Yeah. Yeah, the librarian at the keep has been really helpful in the past. So her and ask her to do some research.
Yeah. Find out what you can. And so you'll contact the council, Kefik, and the librarian, and these two will contact their contacts and see if anybody's heard mention of either Dashal or the Nine-Fingered Candle.
Or the Uffnorn would be another good.
Right. So she tells you that most of the Gordovan libraries are known to her. She's been in most of them.
Mm-hmm.
She can send aides out again to find out if anything new has arisen, but the odds of that are slim. In the meantime, she'll keep touch with Doshrik. All of your stomachs are growling. She tells you must stay the night. It's supper time.
Well, I look to Doshrik and say, the keep surely can't miss us one more day.
I think you're right. And
weeks later, we're like, we'll go back eventually.
Exactly. Fat on dwarven food, dumb from dwarven water.
So good. The water,
delicious.
It's to die for.
So she says, she's got shop business to, wrap up and make sure no one has any questions and things like that. She'll send in somebody with sandwiches, and then you guys will do a proper dinner out on the town, and she'll have some servants make up the beds upstairs.
All right.
And she warns you there'll have to be pallets. Dwarven beds won't fit either of your frames. And off she goes. You guys help yourselves to brandy and wine, and sort of mull over the developments. Yeah, there you go. And we should start me drinking while we play. Wouldn't that be great? I get drunker and drunker.
Yeah, that's what you do instead of every 10 episodes. We just have a drunk episode.
A drunk episode.
No, this game takes too much focus for drink.
It does. It is a more focused role-playing game than any I've encountered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything particular you want to ask Doshrik with Gandasir out of the way?
No, I don't think so. What was my did I have to roll a kind of my feeling about Gandasir? I don't think so.
Roll it up.
After this conversation, 50.
Sort of like she seems, a little guarded with strangers, open to friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Judging by the room and by its furnishings and so on, she's made a tidy little profit here as a knowledge broker. There's some very nice pieces of furniture here with, gold claw feet and things like that, where, these are, high-end furnishings. Sandwiches are brought in. You can snack on them.
chicken sandwich. Doshrik, oh no.
They turn out to be raptors. They don't care. Doshrik just kind of talks about Gandasir and about, one of the most knowledgeable on magic items, probably this end of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And has been very keen on keeping knowledge of more evil magic items very contained, if not completely hidden, destroyed. What I should have done, I'll do it now. I should have had you roll to see if you had ever heard anything like the Uthnorn, and you haven't.
Okay.
Neither has Doshrik.
Yeah, so I was saying, I'm like, demons are like the closest thing I've ever heard to something like that, but
right.
But yeah, also Brise, none of her readings hasn't heard of it either.
So soon she returns. Well, not soon, but there's a good deal of business to wrap up. She empties a nice amount of coin into a lockbox and locks it repeatedly.
Profitable bookstore.
Yeah. Definitely some mithril in there.
Yeah. It's the board games and puzzles that really.
Exactly. The price of a bottled water, though, it's worth it. You've got to.
Yeah, the book's not worth anything, but the Starbucks that I also own next door.
Exactly.
Killing.
$6 for a grande.
I passed by someone today. We have a Starbucks at the place I work, and I just overheard her saying, "I'll just do a venti water," and I just look and I'm like, "There's a water fountain like 5 feet away," and I'm just like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
So many things like went through my mind, and I'm just like, "I'll just leave them be."
That's right. She's gonna run upstairs quickly and change, and then out you can go. She'll cover the costs. It's good to have friends to feast with. That's right. It's all that money.
Quinn says, "I will tap that well as many times as my medication allows." Oh, that was in response to Prethnot.
Right.
I just read, "I will tap that," and I'm like,
that sounds like Quinn, though, right?
100-year-old dwarf. Okay.
Yeah, Prethnot's not the only one interested in portals and openings.
I'll open your portal to another world.
She comes downstairs, dressed in nicer attire. She's a little done up, and out you guys go.
I say it's a shame I didn't bring nicer clothes with me. I didn't realize we'd be taking a tour of Gordovan when we first set off from the keep.
Oh, it's a beautiful city. She locks up the thing, locks up the main bookstore, and out you go. She immediately heads towards an archway, goes one over, about 4 up, headed toward the opening of the front of the hold. It's a quiet, well-appointed inn that she leads you to. A lot of adventurers on this walk.
While we're walking, I asked Gann to see her if if she's always been interested in lore, or did she ever lead an adventuring life at some point?
I adventured for a while, not more than a couple of years, so I'm level 70. But I kept coming across volumes of lore in my travels, and soon I couldn't move with all the books I had. And soon my adventuring buddies were coming to me with questions. I researched those for adventuring groups for years. Then I started collecting more books. Elven Run Inn. Very nice.
Mm.
Roasts and soups, meat pies, loaves of bread.
Delicious.
All fine for you. Yeah, we're fine.
That's pretty good. If it's meh,
Yeah. High praise indeed.
well, it could be really good or really bad.
If that leaves a mark, right? The water is to die for.
I'll take another.
Yeah, exactly. She knows the owners.
Oh my God, Gwen, that's terrible. An elven run in, by definition, has more room than an elven walk in. I mean, I appreciate it's like double layers of buns.
Oh, Elle has gotten into jokes.
Oh, good. I bet
4-year-old, they're
incredible.
they're just incredible because she's a 4-year-old, and it's just, oh my gosh.
You laugh not because the joke's funny, but because of
Yes.
how unfunny it is.
And how much she just sells it, right? How enthused she is about it.
Yeah.
So dinner's fine. Conversation is good. Learn anything in particular? Yes, you do. Wow.
I think I was going to ask her. I get a chance. I want to ask her about. Hopefully, it's not too dark a topic like our last one, but the Great Sky Rings. She's heard of a weapon by that name.
Heard of, yes, but that's about it.
Okay.
She what did I do with that? She starts talking about a religious group that she recently came across. Persecuted, although she doesn't really get why, called the Cult of the Nine Stars.
Oh, so could I have another glass of water, please?
Not water. Oh, you're trying to commit suicide to prevent spilling anything. I see.
Oh.
Um,
I haven't told Doshrik about my involvement with the cult.
no. And talks about how they're other than accusing the temples of hiding something, they're not really heretical.
Mm-hmm.
And she finds, she doesn't find their views offensive at all. And that she's having a hard time deciding what to do with the volumes of lore that she's uncovered. She's read them all. Writings from a leader about 100 years ago, 4 volumes. And, normally something like this she would hand over to the temples.
Right.
But she sees that they seem to be harmless.
Right. You don't want knowledge to be lost if it's not evil, right?
Right. It's not like they're accusing the gods of anything. They're accusing men of things. Or mortals, I guess I should say. Even this writer, this leader of the cult, was beginning to question some of the work on runes that they were doing. Because while the stated purpose was to unlock everyone's potential to use magic, supposedly natural ability,
right,
the runes that that he had seen thus far created didn't seem to support that goal. Because they were not in themselves trying to lift a magical ban.
Right.
The runes instead seem to be trying to impose a magical ability.
Interesting.
It seems that he was writing out of Morgrim, which is one of the Elvish ports. And sort of the head of the priests that were doing the research, he felt, the writer felt like that head of research was sort of keeping things from him, keeping him out of the loop.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just sounded like intertemple politics, just from their side of things. Doshrik says, I do not tempt the gods. I will always side with the temples when I'm in doubt. And Gandasir says, but here we're not talking about the gods, are we?
We're talking about
accusations.
people.
Right. Accusations of one mortal against another. Doshrik seems unmoved by that argument.
Right. I kind of step in to say what would be the right opinion? the gods have their will, and it's up to the mortals to interpret it correctly. If whatever religious order decides that which one is more correct, should not deserve persecution if they're not harming others.
Doshik shrugs and tears a piece off of a roast. The questions you want to ask, however gently?
Yeah. I guess the volumes themselves don't. I just kind of ask her for more info from the volumes. He said that he discovered runes. Did he visit different sites, or was this from one location?
Seem to be all from Morgrim.
Okay.
Around 100 years ago. He worked inside of a temple in the city. The rune masters themselves worked in a vineyard outside of town, and he would visit there weekly to check on their progress.
So 100 years ago. Was the author human or the researcher?
Both elven.
Okay.
Both elven female. I said he in my stupid privilege.
Female author. That's right. Karandrin passes the Bechdel test. We have females talking to females. There are more female characters than male characters.
There are a lot. I make it 50-50, but...
Well, I feel like the male characters die more often. Adabir, he's gone.
That's true. That's true.
I guess Verilag was.
Yeah, it counts as a death, I guess.
Yeah.
So
1-1. Crowlum?
yeah.
Don't really have a
Non-binary. That's what that is. That's we're talking about a demon.
Although it's weird, like the way we just impose that, gender on them. I keep imagining Crowlum as this, aggressive male figure, right? Even though he is a scorpion being,
right?
His true form.
So,
but okay. So I asked. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, I just kind of express interest in the researcher, and if I could. I have an interest in these kind of topics as well, being my work as a paladin. I want to maybe track them down and ask them some more info.
Now remember, it's not obvious that you're a paladin in any way.
Oh, that's right. I haven't even brought that up with her.
So it would be like having religious jokes told around you and then saying you're a priest.
Yeah.
So you may just want to and just say, I'm interested.
Right. I would be interested in learning more about this topic.
I don't know if you want to get entangled. They're going to ask me if I hand it back to the temples. They're going to ask me if anyone else has seen these volumes.
Well, I think if I have the names of the people, and you already told me where they are, I think that's enough to get maybe some more information. First-hand account.
The priestess's name was Shiapar. Shiapar.
Mm-hmm.
The rune master's name or simply Zal, Z-A-L-L.
And is the Rune Master the author?
No, the priestess is
Right.
the author.
And then
The
the Rune
Rune
Master,
Master is, yeah.
the one who's withholding information
Right.
that the author suggests. Shiapar is all. Okay. Morgrim. Where's Morgrim again?
North of Alamar.
Oh, okay.
On the coast.
Right. Kind of like Besidarius. Okay. Both on the coast.
Yeah, it goes Pesidarius, Alamar, Morgrim in terms of major cities. So,
okay. Yeah, I think that's all I'll bring up. The risk of being overheard or giving too much away.
You guys head back, and comfortable pallets have been laid on the bed for you, made out of mattresses. Each of you have a spacious bedroom. And we'll pick up on the next day.
All right.
Next week. So we will call that a wrap. So
sounds good to me.
Are we taking a break? It's weird.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave this here for until a week.
Let's leave it up.
Usually I remember to go 2 slides, but not that time.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for episode 160. That's another milestone in the bag. I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. If you think you had a good time with it, hey, go like and subscribe, and make sure you hop the donor box if you think we're doing a really great job, and send us a little love to help us keep streaming. If you want to see more of Max and hear more of Max, and go to his YouTube channel. You see the link right there where he discusses his role of video games and music and role of original soundtracks and music in video games. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use almost every session. You want to see more of their work, then please go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a novel called Shore Too Far. You can find it on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Go take a look if you're interested. Thanks so much. Again, Max, say goodbye to these lovely people.
I hope you enjoyed this pretty chill session. We'll catch you all next week. See what happens.